So you got an offer on your house and you're wondering what to do next. Well, today we're going to talk about 5 big questions that come up during this exact scenario. Hey everybody, my name is Chamberlain and I am a part of the Chamberlain Real Estate Group here in Calgary, Alberta. And today we have some wonderful conversations we're going to talk about you got an offer. You know, you've done a ton of work, you've got your home prepped, you've worked so hard with showings, last minute showings, you got your dog out of the house, all these kind of things. And it's finally paying off. You've got an offer that's come in on your home, and you're excited. You've heard that this offer is coming in. So today I want to talk about 5 big questions that come up that sellers ask us, and we talk about with our sellers during this situation. All right. So the first one that we're going to talk about is how to know if it's actually a good offer. Well, this all comes down to expectations. This comes down to what are your expectations of that offer. So how do you know if it's a good offer? Well, first thing you really got to do is know your numbers. Know how much your mortgage is, how much you owe on things. Is there other things like that you want to pay down? How much equity do you need in your home in order to be able to actually purchase the next one? Or, you know, talk to your mortgage broker. So you want to really know your numbers well. That is step number 1. Step number 2 is you want to lean on your agent to understand the market. So in a scenario like this, the best situation that you can ask for from your agent is for them to pull anything else that has sold, anything that's come on the market, really look at where the market's at since you listed. And if you've only listed a few days ago, you're not going to see much change, but you might be surprised. So don't skip this step. See what else has happened over the last week, month, year that you've been on the market. Hopefully it's not a year. and then that way you're going to be able to understand where it's at. All right. And then the fourth thing that you want to do is really understand the terms and conditions. So what I mean by this, terms and conditions in an offer are 2 different things. A term is something that is going to happen by possession date, and a condition is something that is going to happen to make it a firm sale. So let me explain. So a condition would be something like the buyer is going to do a home inspection, inspect your home with a home inspector and make sure they're happy with it. A condition could be their financing condition, where they actually make sure the bank approves their financing on this particular house. Because even if you get a pre-approval, or that buyer got a pre-approval for a new home, it's not tied to a property yet. So the bank still has to approve them and finalize that prior to actually affirming it all up. And so something like a term could be, I don't know, there could be something in the backyard where, let's be honest, maybe there's a messy yard, and the buyer says to have XYZ cleaned up by XYZ date and blah, blah, blah. So a term is something that is going to happen in the future that everyone agrees upon. Holdbacks could be terms, so something to be fixed. So maybe the chimney to be cleaned for the fireplace by a professional on a certain day, and or by a certain day with all receipts given to the sellers or the buyer's lawyers, that kind of stuff. So a term is something that is much more by the end of the process, where a condition is short. Conditions are what you're going to work on to make it a firm deal. All right. So now question number 2, how long does it take for an offer to be accepted on a house? This could be an hour. This could be days. So typically, and it also depends on the market you're in. So let me explain. If you're in more of a seller's market, you could see an offer come in where the buyer wants to tie up the house. So for example, I've seen even I'm shooting this, and last night an offer came in on one of the houses that our team members have, and these individuals only left it open for 2 or 3 hours. So they wrote it, let's say at 7 p.m. They only left it open until 9 or 10 p.m., something like that. and it had certain conditions, certain terms, but they wanted to wrap it up quickly, tie up the house, and make sure it was theirs. So then the buyers had their conditions to do so that they didn't lose the house. So they finished their conditions, right? Now, on another scale, on a buyer's market, you as a seller could get an offer. It could come in, and you could end up having, that offer open for 4 days, and you guys go back and forth, and you're negotiating, right? And you're just figuring it out, and it's a grind. So there really is no rhyme or reason, but it really does depend on the market. Because again, if you're in a seller's market, you will see offers that are so much more advantageous to you as the seller. But if it's a buyer's, they're going to be trying to negotiate you down. They're going to hit you on price. They're going to try to get the best terms, the best conditions, longer dates, lower deposits. Like, lots of different things can happen. But in a seller's market, essentially a buyer should and could basically write an offer where they just want you to sign it, right? Here's our offer. Will you accept? And you're going, yeah, that's a good price. That's a good date. That's a good condition. These are good terms. And they just want you to sign it to make it quick and easy for them. So you've got this offer in hand. Now, how do you respond to it? This is the third point of this video. How do you respond to an offer that you've gotten? Well, you always have three choices, three options when you have an offer in hand. You can choose to reject that offer, you can choose to accept it, or you can choose to counter it. Those are the three things that you can do anytime you get an offer. So let's say you get that offer, you look at it, and you're going, I'm just not willing to accept as is. I want to go back. The possession date isn't proper, isn't what we need, and the price is not as good as we were hoping, so we want to negotiate that too. So let's go back on possession and price, and you counter back, and you do that. And so that buyer, then they have a choice of actually rejecting, accepting, or countering as well. And so anytime an offer comes to you, whether it's a counter offer, anything back and forth, you always have those three choices. You can just flat out reject, walk away, right? Nothing is solid, nothing is done until it's in writing in real estate. And that's a really important point. Just because verbally you've gone back and forth with somebody and negotiated something, until it's in writing and everybody has signed it, it's not legal yet. So you can go back and forth all you want, but until it's in writing and it's accepted by everybody, it's not a legal contract yet. Now the fourth point, is can a buyer back out of an accepted offer on a house? Yes and no. And here's why. It depends if there are conditions. If the buyer does not have any conditions on the home and it's a firm sale that they made. So what I mean by that is they wrote an offer and there was zero conditions. You said, yes, I love this offer. You signed off on it. Well, all of a sudden that house is sold. Can that buyer now walk away from it? No, they can, but they're going to lose their deposits. So they might have a $10, $20, $5, $15, $50,000 deposit they put down. And if a buyer walks away after it's a firm deal, well, they'll lose that deposit is gone. They're walking away from that deposit, and they could even have a lawsuit on their hands too, right? And you have to sell that house again. And that's only happened a few times, actually once, maybe twice in the last 16, 17 years of doing real estate. So it's really, really rare, really, really rare. Now, if they do have conditions, yes, they can walk away because their bank might say, you can't afford this house, sir. And all of a sudden they're going, shoot. So they can't get their financing condition. Maybe like a CMHC or an insurer is also looking at the file and they say, we can't insure this property. This isn't going to work for us. Or here's the price we're willing to loan the mortgage on, and you overpaid, ma'am. And so those kind of things can happen. So if they have a condition, they can walk away from it if the condition collapses, or even a home inspection or a condo doc inspections. Something comes up that they just can't figure out. It's too much for them. Something in the home inspection comes up and it's too great of an expense, too much turmoil inside of themselves. They might just say, hey, you know what? I'm out. I can't handle this. This is too much work for me. It's not what I was expecting. I'm not waiving my condition. We're walking away. And at that point, if they did a $10,000 deposit, that gets returned to them if they have conditions. All right. So the fifth point is, can an offer be put on a house that already has an offer? So let's use in a scenario, you got the offer, it came in, and now you are sitting there with this offer. It's conditional upon, let's say, them doing a home inspection, for example, and they're financing. Another buyer is super interested and they come in and they're going, hey, this house is exactly what we were hoping for. Can we still write an offer on it? Absolutely. They can be a backup to that offer. So the key here is, what you want to do is you want to, as the seller, to have a seller's condition. Basically, this is not, don't use this as legal advice, but essentially have a seller's condition that states something to the sorts of the first offer must collapse. So if that first offer collapses and doesn't stay together by a certain date, then this second offer comes in and is now active because you have a seller's condition in there. But your agent will be able to walk you through that. And if they can't, talk to your lawyer, talk to your real estate lawyer, and they'll help you word that condition so that it's done properly for you. So these are some of the biggest questions that we get when an offer comes in and you're going, what do I do? How do I do this? So again, one, you want to know how to know if it's a good offer. Really, it all comes down to expectations, knowing your numbers, understanding the market, and what are the terms and the conditions and everything in there. The second one is, how long does it take for an offer to be accepted? Again, it can take a day or days, an hour sometimes. How do you respond to that offer? You always got three choices. Remember that. Reject it, accept it, or counter it. And then, can a buyer back out of an accepted offer? Depends on their conditions. And if you're putting an offer on a house that already has an offer, can you do that? Can you receive an offer that already on your home that already has an offer? Absolutely. So hopefully these are some helpful answers for you. If this is helpful, I do say subscribe to our channel, like it, share it, because we have a lot of great content, a lot of great things that we want to offer and help you. And if you have questions in the Calgary area that you want us to help you with, just reach out. You can email us at info@chamberlaingroup.ca, or you can give us a call at 587-316-5400. And I hope this is helpful, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later. If you're still watching this video, I want to thank you so much. And just for that, here are some other great videos that you can click through, a playlist about our wholesalers, guides and videos of how to sell your home better. And I hope we can help. If you have any questions, always reach out to us at 587-316-5400 at the office, or info@chamberlaingroup.ca, and we'll be able to help you guys as soon as we can. Have a great day.